My name is Mel, and I work here at Territorial Seed Company. And I had kind of a crazy idea. I was inspired by a YouTube show called Hot Ones, where celebrities are interviewed eating hot wings. So I asked some of my coworkers to eat hot peppers while answering gardening questions. So I went on Facebook and asked you guys to submit questions about peppers in particular. And this is our very first episode. We'll see if we ever do it again. So today we have Carly, who's one of our very hardworking farm crew members. We have Andrew, who manages all of our trials. And we have Jessica, who's the lead of our local store here in Cottage Grove. So we're going to start with an Anaheim Tight pepper. So you guys want to go ahead and dive in. And our first question,
it's fairly mild,
is can you achieve true pepper heat here in the Pacific Northwest?
True pepper heat. So one thing you'll want to do is make sure that you start your pepper seeds as early as possible so they get a good start. You want to maximize your growing season, and you want to grow them really in a way that they get as hot as possible. So plant in full sun, use cloches or covers to keep them warm, and then not watering as often. Make sure your soil dries out between waterings to the point where the leaves wilt just a little bit. Anything else?
All right, our next type of pepper is a jalapeno. Getting there already?
A little bit.
A little bit?
I'm not getting much out of this one yet.
Mine has a kick.
Oh, there we go.
Mine has a kick on this
The
side.
membrane side.
Yeah.
Well, that's promising.
It has been kind of a cool and wet summer, so they're not quite as hot as they could be.
If you want to save pepper seeds, how close together can you plant them?
Your hot peppers, you want to keep them about 800 feet apart if you're keeping those seeds in hot peppers, and for sweet peppers about I think they recommend about 150 to 200 feet apart.
What if you don't have that space?
If you don't have that space, then you can
Bubble them up.
cover them. Yeah. Did you say bottle them up?
I said bubble them up.
Oh, bubble them up.
All right, our next type of pepper is an aji.
Ah, here we go.
Unique.
And it's kind of hot, but it's not super.
Has good
sweet.
flavor.
These have a really cool citrus quality
Holy
and a
cow.
little sweetness
It
and a little
tastes
heat.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
So
There's kind of a creeping heat.
we get asked quite a
peppers.
bit about when to start peppers, like based on a particular zone. Andrew, if you want to address that. Is it kicking in?
Yeah. So, based on a particular zone. So, the USDA zones refer to the average minimum temperature that you get in a particular area. And so, it applies mainly towards perennial plants and describing how hardy they are. It doesn't necessarily so much pertain to timing for annual vegetable crops. For instance, right now, we live in Zone 8B on the west coast in the Willamette Valley of Oregon, and we experience pretty mild winters. The average minimum temperature is between 10 and 15 degrees, I believe. But also 8B is the USDA hardiness zone for Central Texas. So they also experience very mild winters, but their summer growing conditions are quite different than ours. So what we recommend is for starting peppers, you want to be thinking about at the time of transplanting, going out during periods where the nighttime temperatures don't get much lower than 50 degrees or 55 degrees. So you can look at average minimum temperatures for your area and time it accordingly. Start your seeds 10 to 12 weeks before that. And then what we recommend is starting in cell trays and then up potting to 3 or 4 inch pots about 4 weeks before our final transplant outside. And then the only other thing to think about is the hotter the pepper, generally the longer it'll take from seeding to transplant, because they grow slower and they have slower germination times. So if you're growing a really hot pepper like a habanero, you might want to consider starting it even a few weeks earlier than that. So hereabouts, I think we start the really hot peppers around the end of February, and the mild peppers like bell peppers can be started later, like late March or early April.
All right, we're really gonna crank it up a notch here. We're
Yes.
moving on to Scotch Bonnet type peppers,
That's this one.
and Jess is already crying.
They're so cute.
These weren't so hot when I tried them the other day.
Popped it. Just went all in a little bit.
There we go. Yeah.
Found it. Where's that?
These are one of my favorite peppers for drying, because you can just string them up and they're so thin walled that they dry in like a matter of days. So the capsaicin is the alkaloid in the pepper that contains the heat, and it's concentrated mainly in the seeds and in the membranes that run down the inside of the pepper. So
That's where it's at. Oh yeah.
the milder portions of the pepper are the end of the pepper where there aren't as many membranes and no seeds. If you have a hot pepper and you want to minimize the amount of heat, just cut it open, make sure to take all the seeds out, and then shave the little membranes off, and it'll reduce the heat a little bit.
Okay, so our next question came in with, does picking the first flush of peppers green give you more fruit over the whole season?
So the plant's going to be putting its energy into ripening the fruit once they're there. So if you pick them before they're ripe, when they're green, you will get more peppers over time. So you'll either get more green peppers if you pick them that way, or less fully ripe fruit if you're going to pick them and wait till they're ripe. You could also pick them before they're ripe and then ripen them on the countertop in your kitchen in a bag or something like that too, if you like them ripe.
So along with that,
Right?
does pinching off the flowers early help at all like it does with tomatoes?
If the flower is producing them, or if the plant's producing flowers early, like because of stress or something like that, before you transplant them, then yeah, you want to pick off the flowers. And also, if you want to get them to canopy out, to pick the flowers by the base, by the stems first. Yeah. Yeah, it feels good. Feel alive.
Have we mentioned that it's 8 a.m.?
How we're starting our day. From Scotch Bonnet to
do it.
habanero. So here we go. These brave souls right here.
Decent sized bite. Oh, you went right up there. Yeah. I love the fruity apple flavor that habaneros have. Good for you, Carly.
Doing it?
Feel it all the way
took
down
like
to
2
my
or 3 bites
fingertips.
off there.
She really went for it. So our next question, we actually had quite a few questions about bell peppers. It seems that people, particularly in this part of the country, tend to struggle with bell peppers. So do you have any tips for growing bell peppers and getting them to ripen?
Yeah, bell peppers can be pretty challenging up here in the Pacific Northwest because our summers are cool, and it's just hard to grow big peppers that ripen fully before the end of the season. Here, we get them out at the beginning of June, and they're not ripening until mid-September usually. Hang on. And I would recommend trying either Wonder Bell or Staten Select. Those are two of the bell peppers that we sell that are some of the earliest and best performing varieties that have been time tested and perform well. But get them started early. Like the other suggestions we had, make sure they develop a good canopy, get them outside when the temperatures are over 50 degrees at night. Some good fertility, a good balanced fertilizer would be good. But it can still be sort of a challenge. If you haven't tried growing the Italians or Corno types, those are a really good alternative to bells that perform excellently around here. They're sweet, they've got great flavor, and you can use them in any recipe just like you would a bell pepper. And they're fantastic producers. So that would be Italian Sweet and Gatherer's Gold would be a couple of them that are great alternatives to bells if bells are still tricky for you.
All right, we're gonna top it off today with a little Thai chili pepper.
Like the cherry on top. Beautiful.
Don't go for the seeds on this one.
Don't.
Well, you could.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, Carly is...
She's feeling it. My lips
Okay. I took a tiny bit off of the tip of one of these the other day and was screaming.
Oh.
Ooh.
And this next question is just for fun whenever you're ready. What's your favorite type of pepper, whether it's hot or sweet, and your favorite way to use it?
On everything. I like to make them into sauce or dry them and put them on everything.
My favorite types of peppers are the hot peppers that I can dry and grind up into powder, chili powder very easily. So
Look at all these seeds.
cayennes are great. These Thais are great. Basically anything you can use. But yeah, I like my hot peppers ground and dried.
My favorite peppers this year have been the shishito peppers. We've got the Mellow Star, and I like tossing those in olive oil and salt and grilling them and just eating them like that. They're really good.
Lacto fermentation also.
Yeah.
Super dang. Just a salt brine. Let them sit on the counter
Yeah.
for a week or so. That's where it's at.
I also like to chop up hot peppers and then rub my eyes.
This body lotion. You know?
What's your favorite?
Ooh, this.
The Hobbs.
Hobbs? The Rico?
These are also good, the Ahis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were really good.
Can I take these with me?
Carly, how you doing? Feeling good. How about you?
I'm enjoying my yogurt.
How you doing, Jess?
My lips are right.